Hello, this is Jay Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. So, first we have Dark Dumpster Eric Returns, an adventure about gold from Intelligence on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, I said, the gold standard isn't perfect. It assumes that gold will always be hard to obtain. I went over this in the post in the past, but I can't link to it. So these technical issues. But I've actually prefer it to what we have now. Right now, U.S. currency is backed by nothing and can be printed infinitely without any repercussion. And I don't think that's a good standard since it's right for inflation. Then we have Giuliani's Biden sources charged with being Putin agents from NewRepublic.com. And I said, just like Hunter Biden's laptop, they said that was Russian disinformation as well. Then we have the admin has banned us from discussing other subs from Frosty Slawman. They said it's just ridiculous when we can't even talk about the censorship of the entire suburb based on government demand. There was an attempt to prevent millions of people living in Germany to use scary words like "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," and our mods are so powerless that I can't even mention the name of the subreddit. And I said, shameful. Hopefully Reddit continues to dig its own grave into irrelevance. See what I did there? And I spelled dig, D-I-G-G, and put it in quotation marks like the old news aggregator site that was really big before Reddit. So, that was me being a bit of a funny man there, I guess. Then we have Nikki Haley had not in fact been being criticized for being a woman, but rather for being a warmongering, authoritarian hack unfit for office from Hannah Cox on Twitter. And I posted that, and I said, I've seen this one before, and I linked to the Wikipedia page for Hillary Clinton. It's just it's playing identity politics. It's any criticism of someone is diluted because they say, oh, it's because I'm a woman or because I'm black or because I'm disabled. And that's why I think we shouldn't be doing that. We should be judging people, criticizing people based on their own merits rather than any merits on their identity, I would say. And we have GOP Sen says he could have beat up a hearing witness if not for political correctness from Zachness. And that's a link to a Rolling Stone article. And I said, I linked to an article from Cory Booker, who's, I don't know, an article from The Hill, and it said, oh, Cory Booker says my testosterone almost makes me want to punch Trump. And, it's kind of different when he says it because they'll downplay that, but this is probably the worst thing ever. It just goes to show you that the narrative matters, not what people actually say and do. Next, we have hypocrisy from Sleeplack6899. They said, it's really terrible that my political opponents have inconsistent, hypocritical beliefs. It's really unfortunate that everyone else is brainwashed by partisanship, while I'm the only one who understands how corrupt everyone is. And I linked to a YouTube video that said, everyone is stupid except me, Homer Simpson. That's a quote of his, and I think that's really applies to that statement right there. Then we have something that is extremely important to remember as a libertarian, and I posted that and I said, the state only has the authority you are willing to give it. We live in a culture where consent is viewed very importantly, and the same is true when it comes to government. If you don't consent, you have every right to resist as much as possible. Well, what else did I say? And yeah. It's important to remember the individual is the smallest minority of all. Libertarian stands up for themselves no matter how hard things get. Next we have disabled man on sex offense registry pardoned by Illinois governor from Reason.com, and I posted that and I said, interesting article. As someone on the autism spectrum, I sympathize a lot with people like Adam, but I think that it's also important to note that just because you have an intellectual disability, it doesn't exempt you from all societal standards. I personally think if you want to expose yourself to someone, I think that should be legal but stigmatized, because I think that's kind of victimless crime. Is people, you might see horrible things sometimes. That's just how life is. But I do think if there is an aggressive intent there, I do think you could argue it's a NAP violation. Then we have, is political correctness libertarian? And I posted that, and I said the relationship between Americans and political correctness is an interesting one. In the 2000s, it looked like Americans were strong against being overly politically correct. Compare what media networks were putting out in 2000 versus today, for example. On September 20, 2002, in the episode Hear No Evil, See No Evil of the oft-forgotten Nickelodeon series Puzzle aired, which argued that being overly politically correct was a bad thing. Keep in mind that the main character of that show used a wheelchair, and that show was created by a disabled guy as well. Compare that to the episode of Blue's Clues that Nickelodeon aired a few years ago, with more sexual identity flags that can be counted, and it's night and day. You can also see it when you compare ADV Films dub with the Enemy Ghost Stories in 2005, which is full of edgy jokes that won't fly today, versus Funimation's of the anime Miss Kobayashi's Drag Me in 2017, which indulges in very idle concepts like the patriarchy. I personally think that the 2000s perspective on political correctness is a bit more libertarian. As a libertarian, I think that people should be allowed to be as politically correct as they want to be, but I personally think a culture which allows for more unorthodox freedom of expression is one that is arguably more libertarian. And that's what I kind of really hate about modern political correctness. It's bullying cultural standards on people. And I don't like being bullied. I like standing up for myself and in the face of the bullies, and that's something that I really try and do. You got to stand your ground. You can't just be bullied into everyone else's worldview. You got to stand your ground and say, no, I'm different. I stand up for myself and speak for myself. Then we have Bin Laden's letter, Mein Kampf, the Communist Manifesto, all and many of our moronic works should be taught so kids learn how to refute them, from Hannah Cox on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, frankly, I don't trust public schools teaching without getting into advocating for them, Mein Kampf aside. And that's why I think we need to, that's why we need to get, hopefully, I think, maybe we need to reform education. I think get rid of the school system. Just have everyone try and learn for themselves of what is right and what is wrong. And hopefully we shouldn't be justifying violence, even if we agree with the first word, I would say. Then we have establishment pundits have been fawning over Nikki Haley for months and insisting she's the adult in the race, but she's always been an authoritarian, the expert class lover, precisely for her warmongering and opposition to privacy, from Justin Mosh on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, it's HRC all over again. I'm an authoritarian warhawk, but I have a vagina, so I must be good. Then we have Fauci lied and finally admitted it, from Common Sense Soapbox, and I posted that, and I said, Fauci is proof that you can do pretty much anything as long as the narrative is on your side. Then we have Facts Don't Care About Your Feelings, okay, gang? And that's from Jacob Winterground Twitter. And he posted a link from apparently a Nazi artist, but everyone's. Regardless, I don't care if it's a Nazi artist, because I agree with the point. Ben Shapiro's all decked up in Israeli gear and standing on 2 copies of the Talmud. He says identity politics is stupid and racist, okay, gang? And I said, I can see why he would justify being so far up Israel's ass, but it's definitely been hard to watch him over the past month. Then we have a U.S. government-funded group at Stanford said its work was nonpartisan, but it wasn't, from Michael Schellenberger on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, that's how I said they censored Republicans but not Democrats for equivalent claims of election fraud, and I said, good for it goes out to show that taxpayer dollars are spent on social media censorship and how it's biased toward one branch of the party or the other when it comes to claims of election fraud. And then I also liked what what's his name? What's his 2000 Charm Post here reminds me of when the State Department was funded by funding the Disinformation Index. The reason as disinformation, well, the index itself provided less credit, sources, or explanation than in your average reason article. And I said, the sad thing is a lot of people on this website would support that, and quite a few on the subreddit as well. That's just increasingly people are justifying censorship because it's apparently, you can't let people who they deem to be bad speak at all without being censored. Then we have, just because you agree with one thing someone says does not mean you agree with everything they say. And I said, got some flack for my Ben Shapiro post yesterday because apparently the creator of the cartoon is a Nazi, though Reddit has diluted that word so much as to be basically meaningless. Regardless, said post doesn't mean that I agree with everything the artist or poster have ever done. People seem to forget that people are allowed to disagree at all these days. Then we have the movement to expand the Supreme Court is growing from UpperJones.com by Comrade Proton, and they added, we have to pack Supreme Court, we still have the chance, otherwise the fascist judges are going to limit the executive's authority. And I personally would disagree with that. I personally think, we should be able to, I think the current Supreme Court's relatively fine, but if you want to consider it legitimate, I think you should be able to. And if you don't want to, I think, if you don't want to accept any of the institutions of government as legitimate, I think you should be able to. That's my thoughts there. Then we have Joe Biden is a fascist genocidal warmonger. Both the Democrats and the Republicans voted to fund Israel, a fascist genocidal apartheid government. And that's a crossword from the political meme subreddit by International Silver One. And they said they have it's a sign. How are you voting in 2024? It's blue fascist on top, and then red fascist on the bottom. I said, I might have some disagreements with the UOP, but I have to say that in a website that has become almost exclusively run nothing but DNC propaganda, you are a breath of fresh air. Then we have the city in Tennessee that accidentally banned homosexuality has corrected. Homosexuality is not enforceable under current law, according to Judge Original Ordinance from 1949. That's from 12 Feet to Iowa by Dr. Who 07. And I guess that's good. It's, but it's you shouldn't have to care what the state's law is anyway, because they can enforce whatever laws they feel like. It doesn't even matter what's written down, because the states, what matters is how the laws are enforced, I would say. And we have that Israeli lobby money is powerful. Now Massey is a liberal, LOL. And that's from Thomas Massey on Twitter. He said, or it might be Instagram, or I think it might be, I don't know, one of the social media websites. He says, why is Israel historically get more foreign aid than any other country? Because they have the most aggressive lobbyists working for them. I voted now to send over $14.3 billion overseas, so now they're running ads on radio, TV, and Facebook. I won't vote to give them your money. And he says, they had there as Tom Massey votes with AOC Omar, and that's good. I'm glad he's standing up to the Israeli government. Then we have how Virginia's hospital licensing laws led to an infant death from Reason.com. From when my circles work, and they added reminder that regulations don't just save people; they kill people too. You can bet that there will have been more media coverage of this had been done to a lack of regulation. The general public is blind to the cost of regulation, and I would agree with that. Yes, regulation is very much can hurt people. It can help people, but I would agree with my circles work there that it might hurt people often a lot more. And I think we're going to wrap up there. I'll see you guys in next episode. Bye.